Hello, friends. Welcome to the heyBrownBerry podcast. I'm Marce, otherwise known as heyBrownBerry around the interwebs, and I'm very happy that you're here. This is another special edition episode of the podcast. I recently traveled to Dublin, Ireland for the Woolen Festival of Yarn. It's now June of 2019, and this is the second year of the festival, but my first time attending. I have posted some videos and interviews and sights and sounds of the festival in a previous vlog, but this episode I thought, let's communicate the energy of other places I was grateful to see while I was there. My roommate for this trip in a beautiful countryside cottage was Grace. Grace is the host of the Babel's Traveling Yarns podcast, and I'll make sure to link her information below. She very kindly invited me to stay with her as she was vending at the festival, and it's the best yes I've said. As part of this trip, we had the most cozy, comfortable accommodations. We were treated beautifully by our hosts who used this cottage as an Airbnb. One of the loveliest things about traveling with someone who lives in the place you're visiting is all the information that they can share with you about that place. And there's nothing like story time with Grace. This is probably one of the best ways I can think of to get to know somewhere. So this small area that we were staying in is one I think that's worth sharing, but I also wanted you to hear some of what Grace shared with me about the history of Ireland, and I just thought this would make its own great special edition video. I hope you think so too. It'll be a perfect video for you to listen to or watch while you're making, and that's something I love to do when I watch other podcasts. So enjoy. Let's take a look at the Irish countryside together. The bird song was pretty constant outside of our little cottage, which is called the Cookhouse. It is on a functional farm estate in Gormanston in the county Meath. I'm going to learn some.
Oh yeah, I'll teach you some Irish.
Yes, please. Some key phrases. Inside, our accommodations were so cozy. A comfy bed, a working fireplace, and yes, it was cold enough in June for a lovely fire as we knit in the mornings or in the evening. Grace and I decided to take ourselves on a tour around the grounds, exploring some of the areas near the cottage and not a long distance walk away from our cottage. Certainly have something for him.
Hi. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's sheep over there. Oh, I love the smell of a horse.
Yeah, I love anything farm smelling.
I don't have anything. Sorry, babes. No, I still don't have anything.
Just double checking. Just let me triple checking. Okay. Nope,
Oh,
still no snacks.
Soft tongue.
I know you got the raw end of that deal.
Look how big his eyes are.
They're always much more massive than I realize.
I know.
Till you get close.
He just wants another lick.
Oh, those ears went up. Mm-hmm. Hello.
The second one's coming. I don't have anything. Sorry. You can just lick my hand.
Yeah, why not?
It's kind of nice.
It's that pasta we had for dinner.
Now in a second.
Maybe your pockets.
In my pockets?
Maybe in the jacket. Maybe some in the hood. Something.
Yummy hand.
So good.
Sweat. You can smell the yarn. He's a big fan.
That's what it is.
That's it.
Somewhat familiar from his sheepy neighbors. Hello. Hello.
Oh, a lovely fringe on these bad boys.
I like it.
I've got something hanging there from you.
I'm sure glad we took our evening walk. She was fooling you all along. Here's some sheep. Hello, sheep. I haven't got any sticky backs. I'm so sorry.
We've got a
I
fan
haven't.
podcast. Nice.
I apologize.
Look at those lovely ears.
There's a lot of sticky backs back that way.
Yeah, but it seems to engage
Hello.
situation.
The sheep are wondering. They're not certain if we have something that they might be interested in.
They're like I think they're lambs. They're texels. You see, their faces are quite short and wide.
I can see, especially the
They
ones
kind of
there.
have this kind of bull-like face.
Yeah, to
I
me,
remember
this
I
is
did
the
it.
getaway.
I stayed in an Airbnb, a little apartment flat in the middle of Tasmania, and it was
Every time you say that, I'm like, Tasmania, that's amazing.
and
What have you got?
I've got some honeysuckle, and this is how you. So you take this bit and you
If you put that in your mouth, I'm going to. What?
bite off the end, and you suck it.
Okay, I'm
You
about
get
to do
tiny
it.
little bit of sweets.
I'm about to do it. Tell me again, yeah.
So these hedges that you're seeing along here, they're often the only last remnants of the ancient Irish forests. So what that means is basically when Ireland was taken over by humans, before they came, it was one big nation of forests. It was just covered. So people, when they first arrived, they settled on the coast, and then they moved inland through the rivers, and then they started setting up on clearings, and then they started clearing the land. And especially when the Normans came over, and we got invasion after invasion, to clear the forests was actually the safest way to rid the land of like rebels, because there was nowhere for them to hide.
Right.
Think Robin Hood, except Ireland. So, you know, the guerrilla tactics of the Irish were based in the woodlands. So what do? Only they literally rip down the woodlands. So in the space of a couple of hundred years during the British invasion and the plantations of the land, it was essentially planting the land, what was actually ripping up the land, ripping up all of the ancient forests, tearing the hiding places away.
Wow.
And consequently destroying its biodiversity.
Right.
So, but the only parts left were the boundaries of where the fields were installed, which were these ancient Irish, they're just hedges. Like, you look at them now, but actually inside in these hedges are layers and layers and layers of ancient trees and bricks and wood and parts of the entire, you know, whatever's left of Ireland, the ancient Ireland ways and the woodlands. This is it, it's left in our hedges. So it's still there, but most of our biodiversity is actually in these hedges, which is why we should try and fight their destruction.
Yes, and walk amongst them.
Yeah.
A big warm thank you to Grace. Such an excellent roommate and a brilliant tour guide. Thanks to all of you for joining us in a little walk around the Irish countryside. I look forward to seeing you back here again soon. Bye for now.